We're back, guys. Thank you for bearing with us through all of the difficulties as we're getting ready for our second series of the day, PinpingHo versus Roger. That's going to be coming up in our second quarterfinals. And here to bring me the action is KoffNet. How you doing?
I'm alright, man.
Yeah,
We'll see. Hopefully, we'll survive the day.
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm really sorry if anybody who's because I think some people were saying like their speakers aren't really loud and all they heard was like
Do they really?
yeah, something
Oh
like
man,
that.
I feel
So
so bad.
yeah, we apologize for that. But I mean, let alone Rain has been sick for a while, so but we're very happy to
Yeah,
have him to be here casting
rather
with us.
than resting at home and drinking soup and stuff, all I've been doing is streaming and casting instead. So
Yeah,
I feel like it's dragged on a little longer than it should,
yeah.
but eh,
It's work, man. It's work.
eh.
You're trying to do your best here, at least with ESL. So coming up next on stream, we have these two Taiwanese players. This is interesting because Taiwanese players have been the story, another story of the tournament, where it seems like every single week we have two people who qualify from Taiwan to the Open finals, and then maybe one person ends up going through, whether it's Weifu, whether it's PinpingHo, whether it's Flybird, and now it's Roger.
I haven't heard of Roger.
No, I haven't heard of Roger.
PinpingHo's a pretty good player though. Played against him. He didn't make any technical mistakes from what I saw, which is pretty rare in a player, honestly, from like any region, just in general. It's a good sign. So see if he can make it
Ooh,
pretty far again.
I like this series already, Andre. I see four classes that you don't normally see very often, at least in the Legendary series. We often see Warrior and Druid. We do see a lot of Warlock, but we haven't seen Shaman or Priest in a very long time. This is already a good series in my book.
Yeah, I remember PinpingHo had Golden Shaman, I think, so I'm sure it's one of his favorite classes. Roger is Priest, in the lineup. That's ambitious. I'm
Against
excited.
Warlock. Well, I mean, if it's Handlock, because PinpingHo likes Handlock,
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
as
he
long
can
as he
be in some
dodges
big trouble.
Handlock. I mean, Priest is great against Shaman, and it's pretty good against Paladin as well, I think.
Yeah, it's really effective. I mean, if he suspects the metagame's going to be oriented around those classes, then sure, but how can you be entirely definite about that decision? Because Shaman's definitely not been very strong recently. We'll see how it fares too, because I know some players they've been experimenting with Priest too. I know Brian Kibler said he really liked Light Bomb for a while, and Light Bomb was actually very effective against Handlock for some time,
Hmm.
just because it's able to deal with mass giants. So maybe there's a lot of cards in here in the Priest that allows him to win the matchup. Who knows? Maybe we're about to see a new kind. Maybe an aggro piece featuring Shadow Bomber.
Oh, say aggro Priest is Undertaker.
No,
Oh,
that's
sorry,
the
that's
Warlock.
the Warlock. Oh,
That's too
PinpingHo
bad.
mixing it up.
Yeah, I think it's good too. I mean, Zoo is still very strong, and like you said, there's a lot of decks that if it was just as simple as if they faced a efficient, fast deck like Zoo, they'd probably get run over, right? The super
Yeah.
greedy warrior decks, for example.
Yeah, here Roger's basically just has to decide whether to keep the Shadow Priest or the Nova. Like, I'm pretty sure you keep the Blade Master Circle regardless of which Warlock deck it is.
Oh,
Wow.
so he wants to Arcanine that badly, huh?
Yeah. Well, I guess the Blade Master anyway.
That would have been the dream. Coining out two injured Blade Masters and using a Circle of Healing. It feels like these guys are making really strong reads on the Warlock decks immediately.
Hmm.
We saw Pharaoh making the call that it was Handlock pretty early on, and then Roger making the call this was Zoo.
Well, yeah, I think as the Priest, you have to assume it's Zoo because if it's Handlock, you're not winning either way. So
Wow, wow.
there you go. That hand got a lot better.
I mean, that's pretty much what you want, sort of just a Pyromancer and a Holy Smite, right?
Yeah, like a Shadowward Bane. Just something you deal with the first big guy.
That's true.
The problem with Akanai Circle on its own is that Zoo will usually have one or two Death Rattle guys, so you're not going to get a complete clear, but you're going to clear most of the stuff, take most of the damage off the board.
It's a good point.
Alright, Creeper comes down.
Well, that is the Pyromancer. Now, you're saving this Arcanine. Like, there's no real scenario where you're going to be able to use this Circle of Healing for the injured Blade Master, right? You're saving it for the Arcanine Soul Priest. That's the whole purpose of it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Assuming it's Zoo, that's probably why you put it back, because you don't really want to use your circle on the Blade Master. Alright, Juggler, Flame Imp gonna come down here. Just max damage. Still a turn away from Holy Nova, even with the coin, so.
Yeah, well,
as the Zoo player, you're generally not going to play around the 2-card combo. I mean,
right.
as far as Circle Akanai goes, the best way is usually to just hope they don't have it.
It's scary, too, just because he has the coin, so it's also flexible with Pyromancer. He can play Power Word Shield on it, get a lot of sweeps on the board, and you'd lose a lot of these 2-health minions.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way to go about it, though, unless you want to play it very safe.
Yeah, it's kind of hedging it here. I mean,
right, against Pyromancer.
I still like Flame Imp more. You're getting pretty much equally wrecked if he has the combo. I mean, really. Oh, this is
He's
greedy.
just going to build it up even more, huh?
He wants a lot of value off that Akanai.
Oh, man.
He's
Well,
gonna get it.
if he, yeah, the implosion comes down, he certainly will receive it.
Gotta do it, I think. 4 mana.
You know, that's what you were playing around too, because that's why the Voidwalker came down, so that way coin Holy Nova or anything like that will keep the board a little bit more resilient.
All the plays kind of walk into Nova.
He taps.
Alright. I like that play. I mean,
Yeah, I
little
mean,
bit of
it's
hedging.
we're seeing it like that. He's doing some of the right, good conservative plays, but it's just interesting because most players, you know, it's a little bit hard to make those decisions.
alright, not too vulnerable to Nova here at all. I think we are going to see the Akanai Circle. Here's the issue on waiting for it for a turn, is he took like 6 damage or something here. He didn't necessarily need to take. But also slowed down Zoo's development for another turn, so. Now, on the next turn, he does have access to Cabal Shadow Priest, he has access to Belcher.
2 power overwhelmings. That's a ridiculous amount of damage.
Yeah.
So next turn, 6. That's 14 damage alone.
We're going to see Implosion here.
Okay,
So,
well,
Circle picked up, it's important. You could clear the board here. I think that's the play.
yeah. Do you use the coin in the Thought Steal
Well,
and like destroy your own Pyromancer, or do you save it using like Circle of Healing as a whirlwind?
this is the best play here.
Ah, okay. There you go.
I didn't see it at first either, but yeah, it's much cleaner.
Very
Wow.
nice.
Yeah. Now all of a sudden, Priest is extremely far ahead. That's gonna be a tough, tough spot to lose from, I think, as the Priest.
Well, the Ruby Egg not going to help out at all, considering that gets taken by the Cabal Shadow Priest. And a very medium roll here from the Flame Imps, not going to do much, considering, or not the Flame Imp, sorry, the Implosion, considering that Sludge Belcher will stop these right in the tracks.
I'm just happy to see this. Priest winning a game. This is awesome. Doling out the sweet
refreshing, right?
Circle of Healing Justice.
Well, I'm pretty sure everyone watching along and rooting against Zoo will likely agree, especially with something as aggressive and powerful as Double Power Overwhelming. It's like that kind of deck people hate losing to specifically. Alright, this Knife Juggler. He's got a set sight though. If he snipes off this injured Blade Master, that's pretty significant.
Oh,
One more chance, one more chance. One more chance!
you gotta feel for PinpingHo here. That is.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, that's exactly what you don't want here in this scenario.
It's the average day ladder for me, man. Feel so bad for him.
Well, I wish I could always counterpoint you, but there's actually a specific highlight video with Knife Juggler that supports your statement.
Multiples, man. There's so many in past broadcasts that just never went on YouTube, you know.
Oh, look at that. That's pretty cool. Finically Cloak Field allows him to keep things alive, maybe.
I think we're just going to see Thought Steal, though.
Really? Okay. I mean,
I guess you could heal.
I would like to heal the injured Blade Master on the off chance
Yeah, maybe
he has
that's
like
better.
another implosion or something.
I think you stealth it and heal yourself, don't you? Or is he going to stay?
Yeah, stealth it would be fine too. Probably two of the weakest draws that PinpingHo could have asked for here. Both these cards are pretty passive. I suppose don't you want to activate the egg 2 as soon as possible, so the way to avoid Compulsion Shadow Priest, or does it not matter because you have 2 out in the field?
I mean, it depends honestly on his build. Like if he has Defender of Arguses in there, like 2 of them
Okay.
versus 1, he is gonna go for the more aggressive play. You know, despite how much has gone wrong for Zoo this game, it's still in it. That's what's crazy.
Yeah, that is pretty wild for sure. I mean, that said though, looks like Roger's about to cross the finish line in just a couple of turns here, as Zoo will be killing itself.
Just needs a Doom Guard.
Ugh, no Doom Guards.
Alright, well that's game then.
Yeah. I mean, even so, there's a lot of ways for Priest to still be able to stabilize.
Yeah, valiant effort though from the Flame Imps. But yeah, this is just how can I circle, man? There's so many draws with Zoo that just fold to
man.
it.
He needs to Thought Steal a Doom Guard.
It's
Now
good
that's
odds, right?
justice.
Yeah. He has really good odds.
13 cards remaining. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? I've seen better Thought Steals in my day.
Yeah, it's still pretty good.
Not bad. Defender of Argus is pretty clutch. It's like you don't have to play Sludge Belcher. So, Roger looks like he's going to take game 1 here, going into the first one. And he did it with Priest nonetheless, which is really cool. It doesn't seem like to be anything that wild, though, to be honest. In fact, I don't think I saw a single Goblins versus Gnomes card in that Priest deck, did you?
Yeah, no, I didn't see one. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many ways to build Priest, but there are a lot of cards you just kind of have to play. That's the thing.
Right.
I think of all the classes, it's actually the one that uses the most class cards. At least all the versions of it I've tried. The only neutrals I usually go with are like Blade Master. That's about it. But yeah, there's lots of high power level cards that we've seen before and after GVG. You're not going to cut Circle. You're not going to cut Arcanine. Pyromancer is
Right.
pretty important. Like Thought Steal, of course. But yeah, worked out well. Drew Arcanine Circle against aggro, and it definitely paid off. We'll see if he can do it again. I mean, PinpingHo does have access to Shaman, so if it does go to the blind pick games, I wouldn't be surprised to see Priest. Because against PinpingHo's lineup of Paladin, Zoo, Shaman,
It's actually pretty good.
Really strong, yeah.
Yeah. Something that we haven't considered in a while, because, again, Priest has definitely fallen out of favor of a lot of players, considering how strong Warrior is nowadays, Handlock's prevalent. But we'll worry about that if we get there. I mean, maybe Roger doesn't have to. How does Rogue deal nowadays with Shaman? Because in the past, Miracle Rogue was great against Shaman. But now the metagame has shifted a lot since then. What's your read on this matchup?
Well, assuming it is like more of a control-oriented Rogue deck with, double Fan of Knives, Sprint, Dr. Boom, that kind of stuff, then I'd say Rogue is favored. Your hero power is pretty good against Totems. Fan of Knives gets a lot of value because they kind of flood the board. So Rogue is actually should be pretty good against Shaman, I would say. But Shaman plays a lot of burn. Rogue doesn't have that much life gain. Could definitely see it go either way.
Okay. Well, Blade Flurry, one of those cards, like you mentioned, can be important. Oh, I see a Power Mace.
Yep.
That means there has to be a good amount of mechs in this deck. Maybe it's just as simple as Harvest Golem and like a Piloted Shredder, and maybe that's it. But I have to imagine that there's going to be Annoyatrons and other fun stuff in this deck too.
Yeah,
Maybe a targeted dummy, who knows? Let me tell you about this card named Target Dummy.
It's so good in Rogue, man. You know those times when you just have those awkward Eviscerate SI Agent hands? You can't combo both.
Right.
It's a target dummy. Save
Just
the day.
target dummy. It stops Gromosh.
No.
I guess.
Stops Druid Hero power twice.
Does. That 4-mana tempo swing. Oh man.
I'm a fan of tempo. Well, that is a bit of a clunky rogue hand, but against Shaman you're going to have some time. Interesting to see Sludge Belcher, honestly. That's the card I'm surprised about. You don't see a lot of that in Shaman these
What would
days.
you oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking about it along the lines of mech, but it's like, in a mech deck, what would you even put at 5? Because there's not really much mech that fits it, unless you want to play Fell Reaver or Junkbot.
Yeah, so the thing with Shaman and GVG is it did get Power Mace, which is pretty much the best card that it got, but
Yeah.
you don't really want to play Harvest Golem in a lot of your builds of Shaman, because it's a fine card, but it's not, like, exceptional. So most Shaman decks will play, like, the bare minimum amount of mechs just to get that little bit of extra boost from Power Mace once in a while.
Right.
But they don't really go full mech like other decks do.
Yeah, because if you go full mech, you lose a lot of the identity of which gives Shaman its flexibility, right? Whether it can be aggressive or defensive, because then you're going to be making cuts around Feral Spirits or some of its other powerful spells. And those are just what gives Shaman the identity, where it can seize the board, it can be aggressive, or it can be very defensive reactive. And I mean, that's where I'm really curious to see what this power Mace specifically synergizes with, other than what, of course, you see in the hand here.
There's also just a lot of cards you have to play. Earthshock, Rockbiter.
Yeah.
Tough to make room.
Is Crackle really as necessary as we thought it would be?
Surprisingly, no, because of just the sheer amount of Death Rattle being played. Crackle's good against cards like Chillwind Yeti, Spider Tank, but not as many of those being played as minions with Battle Cry, Death Rattles, cards that get value against spot removal.
Well, still a little bit awkward that the fact that Shaman's had a pretty nice curve in the early game. Like, it's like normally, like you said, you have some time. You're not used to like a 1-drop from Shaman, and now all of a sudden Rogue is under some light pressure, but significant enough where it's like PinpingHo's, or sorry, Roger is not exactly in a comfortable spot here.
Yeah, I would have actually liked to see a Prep Sap there, I think.
Prep Sap, along with the Farseer.
With the SI Kill Chow.
Oh, okay. Makes sense. Oh yeah, that actually would have been really clean. Huh. Well, Power Mace is now going to do work. Conveniently enough, there are a lot of cards in Rogue that have 3 health or less.
See, now he's in a spot where he's got to get rid of that golem, but he can't because he wants to prep Eviscerate, which is probably going to end up being the play.
Yeah, and even then, there's another golem to back it up, and even that alone is still enough pressure because the Power Mace gives +2/+2, so it's as if you're playing like a Yeti for 3 mana that has a Death Rattle, so it's going to be very difficult for Roger to deal with in the next turn.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I definitely think we're going to see Prep Eviscerate SI here. Uh-oh.
A pass.
Wow, so he's going to let Power Mace go off. Or he just doesn't want to give Power Mace a target. That's what's going on.
Oh, right, for the weapon.
Yeah, and if PinpingHo does choose to just throw out Power Mace, then he's going to end up sapping the 4/5 Golem. That's the plan.
Yep. But there's no incentive for him to rush whatsoever. Oh! The mechanical boombots. Those are mechs too. I forgot about that. I don't know. I don't think that's actually relevant with Power Mace at all, because Dr. Boom by itself is still great.
Yeah,
But,
it comes up once in a while, but
yeah.
not too big of a deal.
Like when you're playing Mage and Tinkertown Technician comes out on turn 10 with Dr. Boom, like that's not right.
You know, I wonder if he plays Undertaker in this list. You got Harvest Golem. It would explain Sludge Belcher. You got Chow.
Yeah, and I mean,
Dr.
there's
Boom.
so many Death Rattles. In fact, every single card other than Manatide Totem has had Death Rattle. And it's only minions, right? You don't get it for Power Mace?
You don't.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I figured that out with Despite.
That's right. Okay.
I wish so. That would have been sweet.
That would have been pretty sick, because then Aggro Warrior would have made a comeback, maybe.
Yeah.
You can, like, throw out the momentum like that.
Well, pretty defensive Shaman deck though. Zombie Chow, Sludge Belcher. Trying to kind of drag the game out.
Right.
We'll see if he's got the late game to compete with Rogue though.
Well, I assume he does. Dr. Boom is something nice, but is that where he top ends? You know, does he have any other cards late game that can help him? Whether an Epsilon or something else.
Yeah, because everyone's going to have Dr. Boom. It's not just him.
He might not need it, though. He's putting on a lot of pressure.
Yep, playing around Blade Flurry. Doesn't want to drop the other Chow.
Well, he can start playing cleanup here. Let's see. You want to sap that 4/5 target, right, for sure. And then that kill off the Mana side.
Yeah, Mana Tide's putting in too much work right now.
And then with the 3 remaining mana. Blah. 3 remaining mana, you can't. I mean, the SI7 agent doesn't actually kill anything.
Do you prep the sap?
It does allow you to play Eviscerate. Or even Sludge Belcher.
Yeah, I like prep sap. Poison Sludge Belcher probably.
Yeah, Sludge Belcher is much stronger on the board here. Based off what we know, of course, there is the Flame Tongue Totem to boost up the board value. Oh, he's afraid of dying. Either that or Roger just confused even himself.
Wow.
Was that even a misclick? He looks really upset about that play.
Mana Tide just... Oh, jeez. The amount of value this has gotten.
What is that, 3 cards already?
Yep.
With no signs of stopping, because this Fire Elemental is about to build up the board yet again.
And I mean, this is a defensive Shaman deck, right? So it's going to get a lot more out of cards.
Right.
It's just... Alright. Fire Elemental's going to come down. I guess you... Do you run the big Golem in?
That's a lot of damage on the Golem. But I guess you do preserve your board and make it stronger against Blade Flurry. Yeah, I think you're right. It is a slower defensive Shaman, so you're not trying to kill them all in one go here.
The Prince.
I mean, he's cool.
He is cool.
But that's about it right now. You have nothing else going on for you.
Probably going to have to eviscerate SI on the 6/5. I mean, you've got to attack Mana Tide. Unless he's planning to win by fatigue, which might be the plan at this point.
Fatigue Shaman. Yeah. Oh my god, I already see the posts about it now. Have you played around with the fatigue decks at all? That's been coming out in popularity, like Fatigue Warrior, Fatigue Priest, Fatigue Druid, Fatigue Mage.
Yeah, I've seen them. I tried the Druid a bit. That's about it. You know, only played a couple games, but interesting strategy for sure. I'd have to.
It's pretty fun for one person at least. Yeah.
Just like Magic.
Well, finally it seems like he's going to sap that target after he's done some pretty good work. He takes the damage.
Interesting.
And eviscerates.
0/3.
Wait a second.
Wait,
wait.
I don't want to be mean. Don't encourage me.
No, that was not the right sequence of events, right?
Job's done.
He's no, he's playing Molten Giant, man. Oh, he didn't draw it. So unlucky.
Yeah.
RNG, man. Well,
he has Big Game Hunter lined up for the Dr. Boom.
it definitely does.
Yeah. I think Roger got thrown off his game at some point. It looked like he wasn't happy with a couple of turns the way it panned out, and as a result, looks like he just hasn't had a clear mind thinking through some of these plays. Is that your new policy now? Whenever you want to say something, you just stay quiet? Because I like that. I think you should do that more often.
Yeah, oh, it's just because I'm sick, man. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
I'd be tearing him a new one if I was.
Oh, I was like, it's a good look for you, Andre. Staying quiet. It's good.
Ouch, man. There's a few things I love in the world more than hearing myself talk. I don't think that'll ever. There we go.
All right. Well, that does it for game 2. A very interesting game to say the least. One that Roger probably wants to forget about. Starting now.
Priest won. Now Shaman won. Somewhere in the world, on an esports betting website.
Someone lost a lot of money.
Someone lost a lot of money.
Someone lost a lot of money just now. Well, that goes into game 3. I think this one's more normal because we've come to expect to see some of the classes. These are unexpected, but we see Paladin coming up here, and we've seen Paladin a fair amount. And of course, it's Warlock matchups. They've changed some from GVG, but generally speaking, I feel like they're still relatively about the same. Although I feel like Paladin fares a much better chance against Zoo now than it did before the expansion.
Yeah, Paladin's actually favored against Zoo, I would say.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Oh, it's interesting. I haven't heard someone say that they think it's favored. They think it's like pretty even.
Yeah, I haven't played it from the Paladin side a lot, at least. Well, to be fair, that's ladder. I mean, I don't think I've lost once, which is really surprising to me because I thought it would be bad for Paladin, but it might be one of those things where it's just, you know, the game's a little easier on ladder. Whichever side you're playing on, you're a little bit more favored. But you know, I could see it going either way, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Paladin won at all.
Are you playing a little bit of the faster version? Or are you talking about like the ones with maybe like the cog hammer and you're being able to do that, or more of a slower control variant?
Mine's defensive. I play 2 Senjin, 2 Belcher, Baron Geddon. Maybe that's why I'm winning.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Why is that so funny to you?
No, it's just
no one bats an eye. Concentrate.
It's the synergy that I see with the Tiro power. It's really good.
It is good. They have a Yeti. You run 3 1/1s into the Yeti and you play Baron Geddon.
Yeah.
How's it?
It's just funny because immediately it's like it's just counter logic or counterintuitive.
Yeah, I guess.
So, well, we'll see if that comes into play. We'll see if he's running Baron Geddon. Or we'll see if he's playing more of the fast variant. Have you seen any of the aggro Paladin recently? Because I know a few people tried it out, but
yeah, people like winning too much on ladder. I think I haven't seen it too often, but I've tried different variants of it. It has like a bunch of synergies, but it's really tough to find the best build, honestly.
Sure. And then over on the Warlock side, what if it's handlock? Handlock against Paladin. Because before GVG, it was pretty even. It depended on the draws of Paladin, if it can push to the Giants, or lineup removal. But
honestly, I have no idea. I think I've won. I'm like 3-1 against it as the Paladin, but
games.
I haven't played it from the Warlock side. I don't really know.
Okay.
I'm sure it's close. Definitely winnable from both sides.
Well, one thing that I really like about the handlock versus Zoo is that Zoo, it feels like now more than ever, it's really difficult sometimes to seize back the board unless you have this implosion with a knife juggler combination. And if they get the muster for battle quartermaster combination off against you as Zoo, it's just like, well, I can't do anything. Versus handlock, you still have Hellfire, you still have Shadow Flame, ways to seize back the board.
Yeah.
So I feel like handlock's better equipped at dealing with Paladin than most of their classes at the moment.
Definitely. It's not even so much like muster for battle quartermaster as muster for battle juggler. Not in that order, but they're.
Oh yeah, that synergy too is really strong too.
Yeah. Muster for battle in general, very tough for Zoo to deal with.
Card's pretty nuts. Well, we were just taking a quick break here because they needed to go to the bathroom, but I think we're getting ready for game number 3 in just a second. Let's take a look at the screen in just a second here and pull up the classes one more time, because I also want to get a general sense of what we feel about the lineups, because the lineup's pretty weird. We see Priest on the other side, so then what does PinpingHo even choose then? Like if he knows his opponent's like best choice is Priest, what would he choose here going into the blind pick stage? Because we're gonna be going there no matter what.
I guess the Paladin, right? Zoo and Shaman are gonna have a harder time against Priest, assuming that Roger knows how to mulligan. Right, like if he knows it's Zoo, Priest gets that much better. So
it's true.
On the other hand, Zoo is Zoo, so
could beat anything.
It's got that going for it. That Shaman deck might have a lot more late game threats. Might be able to go over the top of Priest. I'm not really sure how it's built. Definitely a unique list.
I guess Dr. Boom is something that Priest doesn't usually worry about against Shaman.
Yeah, cards like Neptulon, if that's in there somewhere, that'll help a lot. So it really just depends on how that Shaman deck's built and how the Paladin deck's built, honestly.
Okay. Well, I'd like to see more of that Shaman deck because I want to see that Power Mason play. That was definitely really cool. And I'm sure if PinpingHo wins this, we'll have to see it again. As I believe game number 3 is about to begin. So, who is going to take the decisive series lead heading into the blind pick stage between these two Taiwanese players? Going into what looks like to be handlock versus against the Paladin. Now, like we said, the handlock does have some better tools equipped with it, but it really does depend on its build here. So let's see what cards that Roger has.
I like keeping coil. Let's see. So yeah, honestly, this might be just heavily favored for Paladin, because you basically can just play like Molten Giant isn't an issue ever the entire game, because the second they play Moltens, you just equality.
Right. I mean, that's what you have the final state to push through it. Assuming you can get through it easily too with Consecration and you have a board, because sometimes they clear your board after they play Molten Giants. That Zombie Chow, a little annoying, but I'm also always hesitant because Zombie Chow against Handlock always feels very weak.
Yeah, that was a big mistake there.
Not to coin life tap.
No, you coin Watcher against Paladin.
Wow.
Especially if you have Owl. And then turn 2 you life tap. Turn 3 you Owl Coil.
Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty good line of play, I think.
But
Will it cost him?
Not too much. Peacekeeper picked up. That's important. That's going to allow him to basically ignore the first big threat and not have to burn equality or too early. But man, that's the dream Paladin hand. It looks really clunky, but it's exactly what you want.
How does a Cog Hammer fit here at all?
It doesn't matter. It's like a Stormwind Axe or whatever.
Oh.
Stormforged Axe.
Stormforged Axe from Shaman.
Yeah.
Divine Shield is often pretty cool, but yeah, not that impactful, I suppose. Well, here's another way to get past a taunt or a giant if it comes down to rushing down your opponent.
Yeah, it can help kill a Drake as well. Peacekeeper's at its best against the Drake, because when you Peacekeeper a giant, you're always at risk of them silencing their own giant and then attacking for 8. Whereas if you
Silence your
Peacekeeper,
Drake, right?
What's up?
If you can't silence your own Drake without risking it getting killed off.
It's a good draw. Didn't have a 4-drop yet.
But there is a way to deal with it pretty effectively. That we're talking about.
This is what I've seen in the ESL series so much, is people just hold on to the coin and then they use it to like coin an Infernal or just do something very negligible in the mid to late game. Whereas you can get such a extremely high impact play off of it on turn 1. Even if it's coin life tapping. But yeah, he's gonna opt for Peacekeeper here. I like this play. Keep churning out 1/1s, and Shadow Flame is probably the best draw here at this point for Roger.
Is there any point of hitting the giant in case it does get silenced at all? With a Zombie Chow, at least?
No, I like going face, because you don't care about Moltens, so you just want to force him to overcommit as quickly as possible.
Fair enough. And he might do exactly that. Considering that Roger, well, he's got a lot of taunts. He also picked up a Mountain Giant here, so he's going to coin out.
Yeah, wow, he's bombing instead of silencing his guy. Yeah, I would have liked to see just Defender Vargas here. Now he's committed 2 threats, and now Equality has a very good chance of wrecking him. Maybe that's better.
Yeah, well, the Quartermaster play allows him to effectively kill off a giant here.
Yeah, I'd like to see Equality Juggler hero power, I think.
Quality's very strong considering he's not even losing any much health on his board. And he might even get a free kill on the 8 attack giant here. So if he does this and he continues pushing, I mean, is there anything Roger can do to stop it? He doesn't have AoE.
Yeah, not yet. And then yeah, I think you trade off the 2/1/1s after you juggle something.
No. No juggles hitting any minions. Do you want to save a 1/1? You want to train the Zombie Chow instead?
No, you trade all 3. You
Okay.
can't afford to let a minion live because of
Shadow Flame.
yeah.
Gotcha.
They're just defender.
Fair enough. Well, Roger picks up Molten Giant, but doesn't really have much to do, so he will tap.
Ooh,
Hellfire, something to do.
nah, hold on to it. Play Farseer. Hellfire has a lot of value.
Mm.
Can kill quartermastered guys.
That's true. It's true. Farseer, well, I guess it does make you more vulnerable to like what you're talking about, though, the muster for battle. But I guess you do get Hellfire value after that, since it's before turn 8, because turn 8 is when you'd be afraid of that combination. All right, well, Roger has to make up his mind soon.
I wonder.
Wow, he really does agonize over the decision, and he chooses to use Hellfire instead.
It is actually a tough call.
Yeah.
Alright, mini bot. I think we're going to see that with Lotheb. Although, he does kind of want a hero power every turn with that quartermaster in hand.
What's nice about the Hellfire usage is he does have access to play Molten Giant next turn, versus his opponent could choose to leave him out of range and he'd be stuck without a really good play next turn too.
Absolutely. We'll see if the Paladin does end up having a big game hunter somewhere in the deck too. These games usually go long, so if you play it, you'll pretty much guaranteed to see it. So
Sure. Well,
I wonder.
I think you do like the idea of hero powering though and trying to get value off the quartermaster, but it's like such a strong board to have Lotheb and the shielded mini bot. Not to mention that you have like this Cogmaster, which also sets up an ability to trade really effectively and start pushing damage.
yeah, I mean he's really slow playing this. He basically wants to get as much value out of the hero power as possible and the quartermaster, but the drawback to that is it might make him pull the trigger on equality sooner than he wants.
Right.
See, like here, you feel really obligated to equality because you don't have the dudes in play to just punch through that.
Right.
Maybe you owl his guy and then just go face, defender up.
It's a
Well-
possibility too, assuming your opponent doesn't have like a way to easily clear your board though.
Yeah, it was a great turn to Lotheb. You Lotheb and then you don't have to worry about Shadow Flame or Hellfire.
Right.
Silence
Or
Lotheb.
Siphon Soul or anything.
Mhm.
It wouldn't have stopped his opponent's turn because he only played minions, but Lotheb would have been 5 power on the board.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Lotheb plus Owl here, and then that'll force him to play minions, and then you quality the minions.
Sure. Oh, Cockhammer.
All right, that's it. Out of equalities.
But he does have an owl, so he does have a way to push through. And his opponent did already use 3 giants, so the likelihood of him having the last big threat is still rather low in terms of the last Molten Giant.
Yeah, so we're gonna see Lotheb Farseer here, I think. But yeah, I guess using equality there is fine for sure, because he's used so many giants already. Alright, going up to 15. Should be... Ooh, Shredder.
4,
See,
6.
every Paladin list I see plays Shredder. And I just don't know why. I mean, it's a good card.
I mean, it's just like a Harvest Golem in the 4 slot, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Just like a pretty solid minion. Why wouldn't you want to play the Pilot Shredder?
Well, why do you want to play Pilot Shredder? There's so many other 4-drops, right? Why is it better than Senjin? Why is it better than Yeti? Mechanical Yeti?
Huh, I mean, I guess you can, for every case you can make against it with using that, you can say for it, because it also performs pretty solidly. Sticky board, resilient against your own equalities.
Yeah.
Synergy with Cogmaster, I don't know. Well, there's an opportunity here for Roger to make a big play if he had AoE, but he doesn't.
Yeah, that low Theb. Not the best turn for it because Shadow Flame is still a threat, but
Right.
doesn't have it, so.
I wonder.
I guess we see Dr. Boom. Well, no, that would get him killed, wouldn't it?
Right. He needs to actually survive
No, you could Dr. Boom.
Dr. Boom and Owl.
Yeah, kill the 5/5. I like that because it's more proactive.
If you kill the 5/5, you eliminate 2 power off the field. He has 4, 5, 6, 8 damage. You're at 1 health, and if he has Consecration or anything, you die, which he does because he has Defender of Arcus. So Dr. Boom actually means death. Unless... Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
So many
Unless he gets Doomsayer off the Pilot Shredder.
Well, I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always an out, right?
Wait, is he gonna do that first in the sequence? Is he gonna test for... Oh no, he's gonna eliminate.
Not even looking. Alright, he's gonna go for the safe play.
Well, it keeps him alive, actually. He would have died if he played
Yeah.
Dr. Boom. Oh, man. Oh, my God. Is that game?
That's a lot of damage. 10. Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Oh,
So much damage being put out. And that wraps up game number 3, and PinpingHo takes the series lead, sending into the blind pick stage where he's going to have a hard time for sure, considering Roger's lineup is pretty effective.
yeah. Quality is a hell of a card. Tough to beat, honestly, as a handlock for sure. Yeah, well played though.
Well done, well done. And, well, I guess that Pilot Shredder was pretty clutch, but ineffective. I mean, if it was just any other forward attack creature, it would have been fine, too. And that brings us to what should be the most interesting stage, in my opinion, of the series, which is how do they approach the blind pick phase? So we have Paladin, and we have the Zulok, and we also have the Shaman versus against the Priest, the handlock that we just saw, and the Rogue.
Yeah.
And you were saying that you think Paladin versus Priest is what the lineup's going to be.
That's what I expect. But yeah, it could be anything, honestly. It could be a lot of mind games when it comes to the stages, because everyone has perfect information with what the classes are. A lot of people can try to predict what their opponent will pick, and then, yeah, we'll see.
Okay, okay. I don't even mind seeing something that's not Priest, even though Priest is pretty effective too, because I think Priest is also a victim of inconsistent draws sometimes, where it just doesn't line up correctly, and then it can just get, well, it can just get blown out, right? Especially against decks like Zoo, which sometimes just falls into the right draw, and you just don't have the right answer to it. You have like a Pyromancer, and you don't have coin, and then you just have like a curve of minions, and you just die. So
I also think that Shaman is PinpingHo's favorite deck, though, so we might just see him play that against whatever, just because he's comfortable with it.
Good point, too. It's a good point. Well, it could happen either way, but I'm going to throw in my lot here and say I think it's just not Paladin versus Priest. I'm not going to sure what it is, but I'm going to go with the just the weird feeling that these guys are just going to bring something weird. I mean, if we were to guess these guys' classes, we probably wouldn't have guessed them correctly. So
yeah, that's true.
maybe they'll also do something really unconventional and weird.
Attacking Fire Elemental.
And then eviscerating the Manatide Totem. That play of the day was brought to you by Plantronics. Not really sure what to expect out of these guys, as I guess we're getting ready. We're getting the final word on.
Yeah. We got to get stuff set up. Sure, game will be set up soon. It's a lot of challenges, honestly, with just running events all online.
I like how they actually brought the Plantronics thing too, as if that was like a segment we're supposed to do. That was the Plantronics play of the day. Yeah, so Roger's down 1-2. PinpingHo actually has points, by the way, in ESL.
Really?
He he got
yeah.
second that 1 week. So if he can get second again for this event, assuming he doesn't win a direct qualification, if he gets second again on the Saturday's main event, and then places top 4 in the following week, he actually breaks the point threshold. Because right now, every single first place finisher from each week has 80 points.
Okay.
So that's Chalky, that's Silent Storm, that's Wei Fu, and that's Max, I believe. and those 4 players are uncontested. So if all 8 weeks end and no one else is able to break that 80-point threshold, then all 4 of them directly qualify.
So what is how many points do you get for your second place?
You get 35.
35.
You get a little bit less than half.
Oh, okay.
So Hyped has 35, Show has 35, PinpingHo has 35. There's a lot of players who have second. Brian Kibler has 35. And then if you can pair together 2 second place runs or 2 second place runs and a top 4 finish, you'll have 85 points.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. No, best of luck to him. It'd be interesting. All right.
Okay, well, it is Paladin, but it's going to be a repeat of the previous matchup, and Roger chooses once again to side with Handlock, which Handlock against that lineup feels the middle of the road. You know, there's a matchup which I think you like, there's a matchup which you're like meh in, and then there's a matchup which, you know, maybe you're not exactly loving that much.
Seems like Roger's in a bit of a rough neighborhood, to be honest.
Or a cool neighborhood.
It could be a cool neighborhood. Yeah.
That's my
Pan out a
perspective
little.
on things. I guess we clearly grew up in 2 different neighborhoods. There you go. Or is that even a neighborhood? I mean, maybe that's just his room.
Just the brick wall on the inside.
No, it's a poster.
Oh, a poster of graffiti.
Yeah.
Wow, that is meta.
Some cafes would definitely do that in like 20 years. You watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll take hipster to a new level. I do like his chair though, and I want to say these guys might even be like 10 feet from each other, because I've seen Roger like look up and talk to somebody. I mean, they're both on Way Spider. And
Yeah,
they're both wearing the same
teammates.
jerseys. But I feel like it wouldn't surprise me to see them like, if we just tilt the camera a little bit, you see PinpingHo's side profile.
Why are their jerseys so much cooler than ours? They look like they're ready to
'Cause
pilot giant mechanical suits and fight off aliens, and you know, we have like,
Like
soccer
Ghostbusters?
jerseys. Yeah, well, no, like Gundam or something.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, I mean, we could do that. But these guys have been around for like 3-4 years.
Okay. Tryhards, man.
Yeah.
Need to step up our jersey game.
You should get your manager to do that. Tell him he's slacking off and not doing a good job. Game number 4 is about to begin, guys. Let's see if Roger can tie this up right here, right now. He's going to need a different game plan, though, because PinpingHo definitely ran a train on him, because there was really nothing Roger did that game that even remotely threatened the Paladin.
Yeah, I think we're going to see him keep the Peacekeeper here. That's probably the only card I would hold on to there.
I mean, that curve is pretty nice. It's 1 through 4.
Yeah, on the other hand, Zombie Chow and Piloted Shredder are not the cards that are going to be winning you games. Oh, he kept it. That's surprising.
Isn't Zombie Chow the best in the very beginning against Handlock, if you were to choose one time to have it?
Yeah, but like, having or not having Zombie Chow is going to correlate, like, not at all with winning or losing a game.
True.
You should just look for equality, look for more Peacekeepers, look for Owl, BGH. I think you just aggressively look for like the 6 cards that matter.
Okay.
But he's going to opt to keep the curve, just kind of have a consistent string of plays, which is fine too. I mean, if you draw quality, there you go. It can just be all undone with 1 Shadow Flame, but that's fine. Or Hellfire.
Oh, there's still no Hellfire.
Yeah.
Roger has the Mountain Giant. It seems like that's what he's tapping for here. But if he chooses to use Dark Bomb instead, he would mess up his turn 4 play.
Yeah, that is a
Such a
lot
big
of
one.
reactive cards. 2 Defender, 2 Dark Bomb. Wow. It's going to give you a lot of hands where you're just kind of looking for a play but don't have one. He's just going to slam Shredder. Doesn't want to be too vulnerable to Hellfire.
Well, thankfully, there is no Hellfire, but there is a Giant. That's going to be dealt with very easily.
Yeah, I mean, I think you Peacekeeper and then you just attack it for 8.
Attack in for 8? Or you kill it?
You kill it.
Okay. Yeah, I like killing the Giant too, because if you attack with everything after Peacekeeping, you're actually invoking Molten Giant Wrath a little bit too early.
You can get in there for a little bit of Zombie Chow damage too if you juggle the Mountain Giant.
True that. Ah, so you do have the ability to do Zombie Chow to put him down to 16.
Oh, he does have a quality though. Maybe you go face. No, you have to kill it, because you're going to have to kill it next turn anyway. If it lives, it's getting taunted.
And it becomes a Mogushon Warden.
I've played that card before.
How'd it go?
You
Not
know,
quite what was planned.
You know, I played a tournament. What do you think happened? But the card was good. It made sense.
At the time.
And in the games, it was good. It did Mogushin Warden-y stuff.
Yeah, they did Bolvar things.
Underrated card.
Alright, let's see. How much damage is this? Not enough if you wanted to push through with everything, because the Truso champion is a lot still. One of the very few ways Paladin can quote-unquote burst. Sludge Belcher still rather annoying and problematic.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see that attack. It's not very clean.
Guess he just didn't want to play further into AoE. This was a good comfortable medium too to put some damage in without extending too far into Molten Giant range.
He does have the answer for that giant, but we'll see what Roger can come up with here to drop. Okay, giant helps. I mean, you're looking at what, 11 damage, so. And all the plays are kind of weak though.
Yeah, it does. I guess you might just take a defensive approach and Dark Bomb.
I actually like this. Ancient Watcher, Sun Fury, that's fine. Or Ancient Watcher, Dark Bomb. Because you only have, well, you do have defenders.
You're just worried about that last bit of damage. So, 10 damage.
Yeah, this is why Paladin is so favored though, I think. Care about the Molten Giant, right? Like, you just go face anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, now you have the full clear, and then like if your opponent doesn't and he has a defensive move, you also have a fallback play on Dr. Boom.
Yeah, I mean, he already had the full clear in hand, just if he had 7 mana.
Right.
With the quality juggler muster. Yeah, he's gonna go face, put him to 9. Doesn't care at all. And yeah, it's on Roger to come up with a way to just survive here. Oh, Lotheb is
that's a survival
the
thing.
best card he could have drawn in his deck, I think.
Yeah, that'll stop the equality play. He has the ability to drop the giant with the Lotheb and taunt it up.
Well, Equality... Okay, so Equality still gets played, but it doesn't get comboed.
Right.
I wonder.
But does that guarantee your safety?
It's probably the best option among the plays he has. Let's see if he goes with it.
Yeah, he's hovering over. I'd have to imagine that he's going to be taunting up the
So
giant
many
plus the
possibilities.
Ancient Watcher, right?
I see.
Yeah, I would do Giant and Watcher.
Even if the quality is there, you want to have as much health as possible.
I mean, maybe just have the Giant on the side and hope it doesn't get attacked. Go for the face next turn, race him somehow.
It is tricky though. I don't know if you want to avoid taunting the giants, that way you play around Black Knight or even whatever removals it could have. Where's he going to position the Sun Fury? Away from the giants.
Alright, now
Huh.
now PinpingHo has to decide, you know, do I want to spend my entire turn playing Equality?
Quality for 7 mana. That seems a lot more fair. Oh, wow. The juggle off the Pilot Shredder also could be really clutch.
Yeah, I think you start off with that so you get the maximum targets.
I guess he wants to hit that 8-1. So he wants to reduce the mana targets, so it's a higher chance of hitting it.
Mhm.
In fact, that's what I'm convinced about now, attacking with this True Silver Champion. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, this is fine too.
Yeah.
Alright, well, let's see if these wall of taunts can protect Roger long enough to win the game here. I'm not sure. Yeah, you know.
Well, Scavenging Hyena is not really useful.
It's just a brutal hand to have, huh? You
Yeah.
can't play a big guy and taunt it, so you have to, what, double defender or something?
Right.
Or Sun Fury defender, Dark Bomb.
Oh, that's just so awful. And you're like weakening your hand from Molten Giants or Mountain Giant even more. Can't Dr. Boom and taunt next turn. Yeah, I think it is Sun Fury, Defender, and Dark Bomb here. Can't even get away with tapping anymore. Roger looks really stressed. Time to walk over and unplug PinpingHo's monitor. Alright, well, this play was pretty much the only way he can guarantee his survival. This is assuming PinpingHo doesn't just pick up something immediately to kill him. Alright, is it boom time?
Looks like it.
So now Dr. Boom highly threatens to kill Roger, and he doesn't have a way to deal with it here. Oh boy, this is really, really tough.
Yeah, there's just no good options here. You got a life tap into something, right?
You might just die, yeah, like Antique Healbot.
Alright.
So the hope is that the Boombot hits anything but the face, right? Oh. Oh, man. Tight moment. But that's going to do it. True Silver Champion is enough to clear the taunt out of the way and allow PinpingHo to push it for victory. Or my personal favorite, you clear off any minions first and you finish off with the weapon while saying well met. Then you see the moat go to the face.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like a double attack.
Huh.
You use the words.
I need to up my emote game.
Yeah.
I didn't actually consider that. I know with Jiraxis, it's kind of like
Right.
goes at angles.
Right.
You know when you target Soulfire as you play Jiraxis, it like the arrow goes up to the middle of the screen as the source, like as the Jiraxis is spinning around and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
it's really cool.
That's cool, man.
But,
I didn't know. Hashtag Hearthstone mechanics.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for our second series. PinpingHo defeats his teammate and goes on to the semifinals to face Pharaoh. That'll be happening later on today, and that's, of course, going to be our semifinal number 1. But before we do that, we have 2 more matches in the quarterfinals before we go to the semis and find out who's going to be going. We have King Griez and Phone Tap, followed by an MTG player named Cole and Ant from the BlizzCon qualifiers. Before we do that, we also want to thank the sponsors who make this possible over at Western Digital, Crucial, and Cooler Master. You can check out all their cool products at newegg.com, or sorry, esl.gg or newegg.com, and find out all the cool promotions that you have on storage, memory, and other cool gear. And we also want to thank a new sponsor that's hopped on today for Plantronics for bringing to you guys cool things like headsets, like the rig that I've been using at the office. You can check out all the cool stuff at the link that you see below as well. After a few minutes, we'll be back with more action here at the Legendary Series, so stay tuned. When we come back, King Riaz versus Phone Tap.
And hey guys, you should seriously go to that link. You got nothing better to do for the next few minutes. They make tournaments like this happen. Always a big fan of people just like supporting the sponsors, so yeah, do that.
Yeah, we'll be back.